there is a $2 water purifier that never needs replacing. 2 pieces of scrap metal from any hardware store dropped into dirty water kill 99.9% of bacteria on contact. No filter cartridge, no battery, no electricity. NASA proved this technology worked in 1968 when they built a purifier the size of a cigarette pack for the Apollo missions and used it to keep astronauts alive in space. The EPA confirmed it in 2008 when they registered copper as the first antimicrobial solid surface in the agency's entire history. Ancient Egyptians knew this over 4,000 years ago. They stored drinking water in copper vessels to keep it safe. The Greeks did the same on every sea voyage. The Romans engineered copper pipes into their aqueducts. The Aztecs, with zero contact with any of these civilizations, independently discovered the identical principle across the ocean. For millennia, 2 metals and water were all humanity needed to drink safely. Then a $35 billion water filter industry decided you should never learn this. They did not bury this technology because it failed. They buried it because it worked far too damn well. A $2 solution that lasts for years cannot be packaged into a cartridge that expires every 60 days. And anything that cannot generate recurring revenue has to be forgotten. This is the full story of the water purifier that NASA trusted in space and a $35 billion industry buried on Earth. Welcome to the camping vault. This is where we crack open everything the outdoor industry desperately locks shut. If what is inside truly matters to you, then hit subscribe today and ring the bell so you never miss a single vault that we open. The year is roughly 2400 BC. The banks of the Nile River in ancient Egypt. A healer prepares water for a wounded soldier. He does not boil it. He does not add chemicals. He does not pass it through sand or cloth. He pours muddy river water into a vessel made of hammered copper and waits through the night. By morning, the water smells cleaner and tastes pure. The soldier drinks. His wound does not become infected. The Smith Papyrus, one of the oldest medical documents ever discovered, specifically describes using copper to sterilize drinking water and treat battlefield wounds. This was not folk medicine. This was codified knowledge inscribed on papyrus and preserved across generations of Egyptian physicians. The Greeks adopt the practice within centuries. Hippocrates writes about copper compounds for treating wounds around 400 BC. But the real proof comes at sea. Water stored in wooden barrels aboard ships turns foul within days, killing sailors by the dozens. Water stored in copper containers stays drinkable for weeks. Men who drink from copper survive. Men who drink from wood die. The Romans engineer it into infrastructure. Copper piping runs through their aqueduct systems. Water flowing through copper arrives cleaner than water flowing through lead or clay. Roman legions carry copper vessels on campaigns across 3 continents. Thousands of miles away, the Aztecs independently discover the identical principle with zero contact with the Mediterranean world. They gargle with copper mixtures for sore throats and infuse ceremonial water with copper to prevent infection. 2 civilizations separated by an ocean and thousands of years arrive at the same conclusion. That is not coincidence. That is chemistry. Stay with me now, because what NASA proved in 1968 changes everything. In 1968, NASA faced a life-or-death problem. Astronauts aboard the Apollo missions needed clean drinking water in the most hostile environment humans had ever entered. There was no room for heavy filtration equipment, no margin for error. NASA scientists built a water purifier that weighed 9 ounces, was the size of a cigarette pack, and required almost no power. It used metal electrodes to release ions into the water supply that killed 100% of bacterial contamination. That tiny device kept astronauts alive in the vacuum of space. A private company later obtained NASA's permission to commercialize the technology, combining copper and silver electrodes to destroy bacteria and algae. Independent testing by NASA, state health departments, and universities confirmed the system killed E. coli, Salmonella, Legionella, and staph, pathogens that resist even high concentrations of chlorine. In 2008, the EPA did something unprecedented. They officially registered 275 antimicrobial copper alloys as scientifically proven to kill deadly bacteria on contact. The first time in history the agency had ever approved any solid surface material as a verified germ killer, and modern research confirmed the ancient practice. Researchers at the University of Southampton tested water stored in copper vessels for just 16 hours and found a 97.7% reduction in harmful bacteria, including E. coli, salmonella, and cholera. No filter, no chemicals, no electricity, just copper and time. But first, everything you have seen so far is just barely scratching the surface of what was buried deep. I collected every single technique, every real proven study, and every method that the outdoor industry hid away from you. All of it inside the complete Camping Vault package. Water purification methods that cost almost nothing and need no replacement, emergency fire starting techniques classified as too dangerous for civilians, survival shelters that outperform expensive commercial tents, ancient food preservation methods that work without electricity, natural insect repellent systems that last an entire season, and chemical heating methods that generate warmth without any power source. Over 10 complete guides, all in one single place with no fluff. The link to all of it is sitting right inside the description. But stay right here with me now because this video just began. Here is what actually happens when copper and zinc meet contaminated water. When copper touches water, it releases positively charged particles called cupric ions. These ions do not drift passively, they actively hunt bacteria. They puncture cell membranes, destroy internal enzymes, shut down reproduction, and kill the organism. But when you add zinc to the equation, something far more powerful happens. Zinc is more reactive than copper. When the two metals physically touch inside water, zinc atoms begin giving up electrons to the copper. Those electrons create a tiny but constant electrical current between the two metals. The dirty water acts as the bridge that completes the circuit. This is the exact same chemistry that powers every battery on Earth. But instead of generating electricity for a device, this reaction generates a relentless wave of charged ions that systematically destroy every contaminant they encounter. The professional water treatment industry calls this KDF filtration. It removes 99.9% of chlorine on first contact. It captures lead, mercury, arsenic, and cadmium through permanent bonding to the metal surface. And it actively kills bacteria, algae, and fungi, something no plastic cartridge filter on any store shelf anywhere in the world can do. Now stay with me because the next part is the knowledge. They truly do not want you to hear. The global water filter market generates $35 billion in annual revenue, projected to reach $63 billion by 2032. Companies like Brita, Pentair, A.O. Smith, and Culligan dominate this market. Their entire business model depends on one thing: you buying replacement cartridges every 60 days for the rest of your life. That is not a product. That is a subscription disguised as a physical object. Beautiful, predictable, recurring revenue that shareholders demand every quarter. A standard carbon filter cartridge costs $20 to $80 and needs replacement every 2 to 6 months. Over 6 years, that adds up to roughly $600. A copper-zinc filter element costs under $10 and lasts up to 6 full years with basic maintenance. $10 versus $600 for measurably better performance across a lifespan 6 times longer. Now consider what that means for the industry. You cannot patent copper. It has been in the ground for 4.5 billion years. You cannot patent zinc. It is one of the most abundant elements on Earth. You cannot create a proprietary cartridge when the recipe is 2 metals and water. And what you absolutely cannot control, you have to bury fast. So the industry buried it quietly. Copper-zinc filtration is classified by the EPA as pesticidal because it kills bacteria, a word that sounds dangerous but simply describes the same mechanism that kept water safe for 4,000 years. The American Waterworks Association actively discourages copper-zinc filtration for chlorinated systems. Not because it fails, but because it strips chlorine so effectively that the outflow water is too clean for their regulatory frameworks. They discourage it because the water comes out too clean. If you have made it this far, you already know far more about water purification than 99% of people on Earth. Subscribe and share this with someone who really needs to know the things that massive corporations have made all of us forget. Everything the industry buried is inside the complete vault. The link is waiting for you right inside the description. Now, I need to be honest right here. Copper-zinc filtration is not a perfect standalone solution for every situation. It does not remove pesticides or certain organic chemicals. It is not effective alone against parasitic cysts like Giardia. For those threats, combine it with boiling or a carbon element. But here is what copper-zinc does better than almost anything on the market. It kills bacteria on contact. It removes chlorine at 99.9% efficiency. It captures heavy metals permanently. It works in hot water where many filters fail. It lasts years instead of months, and it costs almost nothing. Here's exactly what to do. Go to any hardware store and buy 14-gauge bare copper wire and a strip of zinc metal. Both cost under $5 total. Cut the copper wire to about 12 inches and the zinc strip to the same length. Twist them together so they maintain firm physical contact along their entire length. This metal-to-metal connection is critical. Place the twisted pair into any clean container. Pour your collected water through a cloth first to remove visible debris. Let the water sit with the copper-zinc pair for at least 4 hours. 8 hours is better, 16 hours is ideal. After the waiting period, pour the treated water through a simple carbon filter, a clean sock filled with crushed charcoal from your campfire. The metals kill the biology, the charcoal catches the chemistry. Together they create a two-stage system that rivals filters costing 50 times more. Total cost, under $5. Total replacement parts needed, 0. A backcountry hiker in Colorado tested this exact method against a $45 commercial pump filter and sent both samples to an independent lab. The copper, zinc, and charcoal method removed 98% of bacterial contamination. The commercial filter removed 99.5%, a difference of 1.5% for a price difference of over 900%. $5 versus $45, and the $5 version never needs a replacement cartridge. Egyptian healers stored water in copper over 4,000 years ago. Greek sailors survived deadly voyages with copper vessels while men drinking from wooden barrels died. Roman engineers ran water through copper pipes across an empire. The Aztecs discovered the same principle independently across the ocean. NASA built a copper purifier the size of a cigarette pack that kept astronauts alive in space in 1968. The EPA registered copper as the first antimicrobial surface in history in 2008. The University of Southampton confirmed 97.7% bacterial reduction from copper alone. And a $35 billion water filter industry sells you a plastic cartridge every 60 days. And now, so do you. You know everything they buried. This knowledge never disappeared from the face of the earth. It was buried under $35 billion of marketing and cartridge subscriptions written by the people who profit from dirty water. The metals are still right there at any hardware store for $2. No cartridge to replace, no battery to charge, no subscription to renew. If this vault opens something for you, subscribe and share it. Every share preserves what they tried to erase from your life. The next vault opens soon. What is inside weighs even heavier.